Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dudayambi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, about to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, about to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, about to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, about to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhi Soha. So I hope you're all well today. Looking forward to our little session. Of course, we've already begun with the chanting, the preliminary prayers, which will help our minds to become more focused and right for our meditation practice now. And then, of course, with the meditation practice, then our mind becomes ripe for wisdom, to realize the teachings, to hear the teachings, contemplate the commentary on these teachings, and then afterwards absorb the mind with these teachings, or the meaning of these teachings. Put it into practice in your everyday life. So now forget everything I just said and let's calm the body, find a nice comfortable position for yourself. And we will release the tension from in the body or from the body. So gently close your eyes, lips gently touching, tongue resting on the upper palate in the mouth. This is the most comfortable position, but also it helps us to create less saliva, so we don't have to swallow as much. And there is also a pressure point there in the mouth related to awareness. Shoulders nice and sort of stable, upright without being rigid. And now bring your mind to your body. Starting at the tips of the toes, work your way up your body to your shoulders, down to the tips of your fingers, and to the top of your head. And as you go past these different areas, you release the tension. I think it's helpful to release the tension on the out breath. But if you can do it with the in-breath or the out-breath, that's fine. That's very good. If you find it still difficult to release with the out-breath, then maybe you can physically manipulate the body in that area a little bit, or rub it a little bit. But once we're past this part of the meditations, try to keep your body still. Okay, even if you have itches and things like that, if you can handle them, just keep your body still. This will help you keep your mind still, and it works vice versa as well. When the mind is still, the body will be still. Nice and relaxed, nice and calm, nice and bright. So now let's engage in this practice of releasing the tension from inside the body. Like I said, starting at the bottom, working our way to the top. We'll take a few moments to do this now. And now scan your body once more, just to see if there's any tension left over that you can release. And then do so. And now bring your mind to the tip of your nose initially. And the object of the meditation is the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. Breathing in your nose, all the way past your throat, past your chest area, into your lungs, and then back out the same way it came in, out your nose again. You may notice that the breath is quite cool on the back of your throat as you breathe in, and quite warm as you breathe out, as it passes your throat. Just some extra details to help you keep the focus on the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and breathe out. So all we have to do mentally now is place the mind on the breath. And when we become distracted, or if we become distracted, then apply the antidotes and put your mind back onto your breath. And physically, all we have to do is breathe and sit here or in whatever posture you're in. Be here physically. More importantly, be here mentally, in the present. As we're engaging in this practice, this mindfulness of the breath practice, if your mind sort of has some sort of distractions, agitation, thoughts or feelings and the like, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. But also don't try to force them away either. And don't deny them. But just simply place your mind back onto your breath. You let them go naturally by doing this. And if your mind starts to become sleepy or dull, or what I like to call fluffy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. This way, refocusing or replacing your mind back onto your breath is the antidote for both the agitated mind, the overexcited mind, as well as the dull mind. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel very pleased with ourselves for engaging in the practice and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness, which includes friendliness, acceptance, forgiveness, love, kindness, as mentioned, including compassion as well. With metta, the Pali word metta is multifaceted, includes all of these and more of the good qualities. And in Sanskrit, just for your information right now, it's pronounced as Maitri. Of course, Sanskrit is the mother language there, so Maitri, the original, and metta, the derivative or Pali in this case. And you can also add the word maha at the front of it, maha metta or maha maitri. Maha means great, beyond great. So let's fill ourselves with this universal loving kindness. The feeling of this universal loving kindness is of utmost importance, but also you can utilize the technique of visualizing your whole being filling with white light, or if you prefer, white nectar. The visualizing helps you to maintain this feeling of loving kindness, to focus the mind on this loving kindness. And as per usual, we are loving and kind to ourselves initially. It has to start here. Just like all of the good qualities start here, inside our own mind, and all of the faults as well. But right now we are focusing on loving kindness, which can be developed beyond measure, based on equanimity, based on a non-biased mind. Right now we may have to force it a little bit, but that's okay. That's part of the practice. That's part of the process. So fill yourself with so much universal loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards. Initially to your loved ones, your family, your friends. Filling them with the universal loving kindness too. May they be happy. May they be free from suffering, and may they be peaceful. And now also include those that you're indifferent towards, may regard as strangers, whether you know them a little or not at all. Fill them with the universal loving kindness too. May they also be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. Really have this feeling, these wishes, these aspirations to cause happiness for living beings, to free them from suffering, to help them be peaceful. And now also include those you may regard as enemies, those people that you find it very difficult to be around or even think about. Now we are changing our mind, changing our way of thinking of these living beings. We want them to be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. So fill them too with the universal loving kindness. So I just remind you as well, because during these Zoom classes, the meditations are very short. In your own time, you should increase the length of time that you engage in these practices. Okay, it doesn't matter, it's up to you how long, but set aside a time. Let's say it's 20 minutes for the breath meditation, for instance, then actually stick to that. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, it can be less, it can be more. And it's likewise with the love and kindness meditation too. So now let's radiate this loving kindness out further and further distance-wise to all living beings now. All the living beings initially around your immediate area, those beings that live in the waters, fly through the air, live on the land or under the land, whether they're born from wombs, from eggs, from moisture, or through transformation. All sentient beings, whether weak or strong, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, may they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. And now further and further distance-wise, throughout your whole state or county. To all the beings now. We can also categorize the animals, for instance, as we do with the humans, those animals that we're friendly towards or have an affinity towards. Extend this love and kindness to them. Those that you're indifferent towards, maybe you don't think about them hardly at all or at all. And those animals that you may fear or have some negative feelings towards. May all of the living beings throughout your whole state or county have happiness, be free from suffering, and be peaceful. And other states and counties now too, throughout your whole country. And other countries throughout the whole world. Once again, initially those that you have an affinity towards, then those you're indifferent towards, and those that, for whatever reason, you may have some negative feelings towards. To your loving kindness pervades throughout this whole planet, throughout all of the oceans, which host most of life actually on the planet, are in the waters, much more than on the land. Have your loving kindness reach down to the core of the earth and also the outermost atmosphere, throughout all of the waters, throughout the land, throughout this whole planet. And now beyond the planet, throughout the whole solar system. The radiation of your loving kindness generated in your own heart has so much momentum now that it's radiating throughout the whole galaxy and the whole universe and beyond, until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. This infinite, immeasurable loving kindness. Whilst also being present here and now, and we will recite a dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And just remind you again, in case you don't have the prayers in front of you, some of you may not engage in the practice because you like to listen, like to absorb it that way. But if you want to engage in the practice of the praying, you could say, or the reciting of the Buddhist verses, just look on when I post the video of this later tonight or this evening, you can see on the text with the post, I put the prayers, okay, along with other information. Or you can go to the YouTube channel, Dharmacharya, Andrew Williams' YouTube channel, and you can have a look there with each video. Once again, the details are on there. Okay, so that's one thing I want to mention. The other thing is, actually, maybe I'll do it straight away now rather than doing it when I thought about it. I put something on Facebook yesterday, and it's a story that I kind of rewrote and expanded upon, because the initial story actually comes from a Zen cartoon from a book called Zen Speaks, Shouts of Nothingness. And so these are like probably about 100 teachings in cartoon form. So they look like children's teachings, but they're actually quite deep, a lot of them. Anyway, this teaching I expanded upon, put it on Facebook, and had quite a few questions through Messenger about it. Now, people generally think, they think of a monk, for instance, not supposed to engage, sensually, touching with the female, for instance. And likewise the nun with the male. And people tend to grasp onto this type of thing. And then if it happens to go the other way, where they, through compassion, through non-attachment, actually help somebody physically, like picking them up, taking them, over the river when they could drown if they tried to do it themselves, or if somebody's struggling in the water and you can swim well, you go and save their life, for instance. So the people were like, oh, monks are not supposed to do this. This is what the story is, okay? I'll keep it really short. There's a senior monk with a young monk walking through the forest between temples. And they come to this river, which is quite rough, quite strong currents. And there's this lady on the side of the river. Whether she is attractive or not attractive doesn't really matter, okay? But she's really sort of worried about crossing the river with her basket of the things she'd gathered. So this strong monk, the elder monk, actually said, I will pick you up and I will take you across. And so he did that. The young monk freaked out in his mind. He was thinking, wow, we're not supposed to be touching the females. Why did he do that? After some time, he worked up the courage to ask the senior monk, why did you do that? You tell me we can't touch the female. And anyway, the elder monk said, I put her down a long time ago. Are you still carrying her? So it's a teaching on non-attachment. What the elder monk did was help a fellow human being, help a sentient being. Like I said, there's possibility she could have gone into trouble in the water, and he didn't want that to happen, so he helped her across the water. And then as soon as he put her down, bid farewell, then that was the end of it for him. He did it through compassion, through loving kindness. But the young monk was not trained well yet. So this leads me to this, okay? It's the idea of a female from a man's point of view, or from a monk's point of view in this case. The idea of the female is not the problem, or the female is not the problem. What the problem is the attachment that the monk may have, or the man may have. And the lust, sensual pleasures, ideas of this is the problem that this attachment may lead to. So the reason why the monk wouldn't engage, and also it can be said with the nun, from the other way around, vice versa, engage in physical contact with the opposite gender, is to decrease attachment, so that their mind doesn't become clouded with attachment and lust, which will hinder the Dharma practice. Okay, so that's the purpose of this story. But yeah, it got quite, probably I think about 7 people wrote to me and said, oh, but this shouldn't happen. Why are you telling this story? I didn't make the story up. It's apparently a true story, so, but maybe embellished over the years. I'm not sure. There's quite a few stories like this. I was going to tell you another one, but I won't, because it's taking too much time. So I just wanted to clear that up. As you know, or most of you anyway, what I'm doing right now is I'm addressing and answering questions that have come to me over last year. While we were doing the commentary on the 8 verses of thought transformation, I didn't answer specific questions that were coming to me. I did individually, respond or reply to the people that asked them, but I took little notes of it, and I've decided to address these questions by reading to you and then explaining a little more from my book, Dharma and Encouragement Quotes, and then, of course, with explanations added to them. Okay, so we've already done, I think, 21 of these out of 50. So I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that once we get to the end of this, I will have addressed all of these questions. And if I haven't, for some of you, you want more clarification, more elaboration, then just let me know, and I will answer them, specifically to do with the question, not just in this way. I decided to do it like this because I thought maybe a little bit entertaining for you as well, a little bit of variety, rather than just grouping them into, groups or subjects and doing them as I've done before in between the major subjects that we choose to do. The next subject, like I mentioned, is teachings or heart advice by Master Atisha Dipankara. And this is a master that is very well known, very famous throughout Tibet. But actually, initially, he was born in the region in India that is now called Bangladesh. Okay, probably the most well-known Bangladeshi master around. Okay, so I think that's kind of covered the attachment. Yeah, like I said, the problem here is the man's attachment and the lust that can lead sexual lust or sensual attachment. It clouds the mind and vice versa. All right, so that's the reason you do that. But if you're already past that, then help living beings without any restrictions, okay? It's important, even though don't kid yourself. That's important as well. Don't think we're really advanced if we're not, okay? But also think of how others perceive it as well. Like if you're in front of, for instance, 1,000 very conservative people that are not trained very well, then maybe you should stick to the sort of beginner's way, so you don't put them off the Dharma practice in that sense. Okay, all right. So going back to the quote from last week, which I started on after we did the New Year's teaching or New Year's message, be grateful and show appreciation to everyone and all of nature. Be grateful and show appreciation for all that we have and don't have. I addressed that last week. So some things we think we have, that are beneficial. But also there's some things that could be harmful that you don't have. Be appreciative of that too. Grateful that you don't have these harmful things around you or harmful experiences. For all of our life experiences in the past, present, and future. Even though the future is not here, it will come. It'll be the present at that time. The past already gone. You bring up the past, only good to learn from. That's all. Okay, don't cling to it, don't dwell on it. Think about it to learn from it if you need to or want to. And for all of the precious opportunities to improve our wisdom and compassion that this life has presented us with. In other words, to practice the Dharma. We've had great opportunities in this life. Some of them we may not have done great in the past. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Pick it up from now, moving forward, improving all the time. If we go backwards a little bit, recognize it, then get back up on the path and go forwards towards what we call enlightenment. Wisdom and compassion. We have great opportunities always to increase our wisdom and compassion. And of course, the wisdom and compassion include all of the other good qualities, all of the other perfections as well. Be grateful and show appreciation to our parents. Of course we have to. We wouldn't actually be alive if it wasn't for our parents. If it wasn't, especially the mother, because the mother carried you in the womb, but also the father as well. And here I go on to say the relatives, loved ones, and teachers. And of course here, teachers can include your Dharma teachers, but also your primary school teachers, maybe the nursery teachers, kindergarten, high school teachers, university, or whatever, okay? Anybody that has taught you things, you really have to appreciate them and have respect and be really grateful. The more we like this, the more our mind is open, the more that we really appreciate ourselves and are grateful towards ourselves as well. To our friends, enemies, and strangers. So a little bit similar to that loving kindness meditation, where we initially extend the loving kindness to our friends, those people we have an affinity towards, then so on. And so we should be appreciative. Actually, those ones that you may regard as enemies, even if they're really bad, they get to teach you, or you get the opportunity to teach yourself from their actions. Don't be like that. Or if we have the opportunity to be a good influence, then this is compassion, isn't it? Or the active practice of compassion. So they get to give you the opportunity to really practice the Dharma, really check your mind, and especially develop the perfection of patience, working with patience to perfect it, okay? Then to all sentient beings and all of nature throughout infinite space. So not just sentient beings now, all the creatures, whatever, but nature, trees, grass, all of the plants, all of the flowers. We really should appreciate it. We can learn from them. A flower has such a short life, or most of them do anyway. This is wonderful teaching on impermanence. or no self, and continual interdependency, interrelationship. For instance, the flower would actually, dry up after it's sort of plump or a period of time, dry up and become compost, continue to be nutrients for the plant, and so on. This is like a cycle. So cyclic existence is like this. Okay, everything is interrelated. Be grateful and show appreciation to the Supreme Buddhas, the immaculate Dharma, and the virtuous supportive Sangha. And I won't go into detail there because we spoke about this a lot, about taking refuge in the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, Sangha. But loosely, I'll say now really quickly, the Buddha's like the great physician who prescribes the medicine for our sickness of ignorance, attachment, and aversion, and all of the other mental afflictions that rise from these three poisonous attitudes, or three poisons. And then the Dharma is the medicine that's been prescribed, the supreme medicine. And then we have the Sangha, which actually includes the monastic males and females, but also the laity, the lay practitioners, males and females, what we call the fourfold Sangha. But specifically the monastics as now and teachers throughout the world administer this medicine, give the Dharma teachings, and so on. Okay, so we should be appreciative of this Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. We call them the three jewels because us Buddhists believe them to be the most precious things in this world. Let us be grateful and show appreciation to each other. Here and now, we can think of myriad living beings. We can think of innumerable living beings, even though we can't do that fully right now, but also the one in front of you right now. Don't forget that one, okay, by thinking abstractly about innumerable living beings. All that surrounds us. And this is from me to you right now. I thank you. I appreciate you. With palms joined, I bow deeply. Okay. So I think that will do for that. I wanted to get back onto that after not quite finishing it last week, because it's really important. You could say these are kind of elements of love and kindness as well, and compassion. Okay, to be appreciative and to be grateful and to have respect for yourself, for other living beings, and especially those beings such as the Buddhas, such as the Bodhisattvas, and so on. Okay, don't take things for granted, basically. Be kind to yourself and others. To be kind to yourself, be kind to others. To be kind to others, be kind to yourself. Sounds like a riddle, but it's true. When we are kind to others, we're really being kind to ourselves by developing this compassion, this loving kindness more. And when we are kind to ourselves, we are kind to others because we're going to exude the loving kindness, exude the kindness. We absorb the mind with the kindness, then we're going to radiate it outwards through our physicality and our words. Okay, it's just natural. People will feel safe around us. We'll kind of help them to alleviate their sufferings. So when we are kind to others, we are the one who benefits immediately, because when we are kind, we experience natural joy and happiness. It kind of makes our mind gentle, and we don't have any guilt, things like that. And our heart mind becomes gentle and calm. Also, the recipient of our kindness will most likely be grateful and appreciative. Of course, that's really up to the other person, how they take it and things like that. But we can act with this kindness, bring benefit to others as much as we can. Okay, benefit to others and self. These are known as the two benefits. When we benefit ourselves by decreasing our unwholesome mental afflictions and increasing our wholesome mental qualities, others will surely benefit when in our presence. The more we purify our mind, the more benefit we bring. These are just a couple of simple examples of how we can be kind to others and ourselves. The more kindness there is in the world, the more the world will be kind. So this is, once again, it sounds a little bit like a riddle, but I think very simple to understand, but also quite deep in a sense. I'm not saying I'm deep or anything, but just this kindness based on equanimity, based then on wisdom, goes deeper and deeper, right? So think about it in this world, talking about the law of karma there. The more kindness in the world, the more the world will be kind. So the flow on effect, the pebble in the pond, you throw the pebble in the pond. Once the pebble hits the water, it creates some ripples or waves or whatever, and then they go to all parts of the pond. So this is, you be kind, then it will affect things around you, okay? And even if you do really small things, it does affect everything around you. So let's avoid any actions that are unwholesome, thoughts and so on. Even if they're really small, they can turn into something big, reinforced over time. Especially avoid negative thoughts, actions, words that are big, intense intentions. Okay, so I know that we're under 1 minute, maybe about 20 seconds to go. So I'll leave it there, and we'll pick it up again next week. I rejoice in your goodness as always. Please pay attention, be mindful, aware, and conscientious. Study the Dharma to the best of your ability, practice the Dharma to the best of your ability, and share with others freely and openly. Take care.